My name is Carl Bennett, and I ended up in Camp Zama in 1966. I'd been wounded in Vietnam. They couldn't do anything for me, so they sent me to Camp Zama, where Camp Zama actually saved my life, not only healed my wounds, but I also met my future wife, which now we've been married 50 years. When I came to Camp Zama, once I got out of the hospital, I was in a personnel outfit. They called it transit because we were waiting orders to go back to the States. Well, because you're in such a limbo state, they don't have a whole lot for you to do except daily details and stuff. And so I joined the local softball team, the personnel center softball team. And when my orders came down, I had met my future wife. And fortunately for me, the commanding officer of the personnel center team was into softball. And we were having a winning season. And I only had about 90 days left on my tour duty. And he said, how would you like to spend those 90 days here at Camp Zama? And like I said, I'd met my lovely wife. Her name at the time was Lynette. And now it's Lynette Bennett. People kid her about that. But and I told the old man, let me think about it. Yeah, I'll stay. So that's how I ended up at Camp Zama. Spent 2 years here, loved every minute of it, and it's the dearest place in my heart. This was the movie theater, and this is where we had our first date. She and her girlfriend were pushing their bikes down. They both had flat tires on them. And I just gotten out of the hospital, and a buddy of mine and I were sitting up on the hill, just taking in the cherry blossom times, I think. And she comes in, she's come back out with a pump. And my buddy, being the more outgoing guy, says, hey, you need any help? She says, sure. So we go down there. Well, he's not very mechanically inclined, so I'm the one who gets stuck with doing the grunt work. So we get the girls going, and when he says, let's go ride around with them. I says, well, they look like dependents. And back then, she and her girlfriend looked like dependents. And he said, oh, come on. So we go riding around with him, and through talking with her, I find out that she's working here. And I said, well, you gonna be out here tomorrow? Probably. For the next 2 weeks, I rode all over this base looking for her. And so I'd given up. I said, I don't know what happened. And so I'm on my way. I'm gonna go to the movie. But I went to the snack bar to get something to eat before I came to the movie. And back then, they had the telephone booths here, and they were like half moons up to about your waist. Then it was completely enclosed, and the top half were doors that swung open like this, and so these doors just burst open. She says, hi. I said, hi. She says, you remember me? Then it hits me who she was. The lady that said she's going to be out there. My legs look like tree stumps, from riding around all over the base. I said, sure. She said, what you doing? I said, I'm getting ready to go to the movie. What are you up to? I'm trying to get a hold of my friend. We're going to go take scuba diving lessons. And she tried calling her friend again. And she said, do you think letting the phone ring 10 times is, sufficient to assume she's not there? I said, sure, but you might want to let it ring a couple other times. And that's how we ended up here at the theater watching Patch of Blue. Back in '67. I was a Spec 4, and that's a specialist 4th class. And shortly after being here for a while and being first string third baseman, the company commander decided I needed to be a Spec 5. So I was promoted to specialist 5th class. And then after my wife and I married, we left Camp Zama and we were reassigned to West Point, the military academy, where we spent 2 years and where my daughter was born. But I eventually left the Army after 10 years at the rank of Staff Sergeant. Geez, this is great. A lot of memories on this old softball field. But we played a lot of our games over there on that field, but we played this field as well. But I don't recall, we didn't have any lights. There were no lights on the field at the time. That's what's different. And of course we didn't have the covered seating back there. It was more like this area over here, but without the lights. Before, I remember this was a service club back in 1966 and 67 when we were here. And this is one of the other gathering places in addition to the movie theater. And guys, this was kind of the first taste of home that we were getting when we came back. You know, because we saw people here that, you know, really cared about us and was interested in our well-being. And we got introduced back into kind of the American culture at the time, you know, and the different little games we used to play, that like Monopoly and things like that you didn't get over there. And just, it was little pieces of home. That's what Camp Zama did for us vets, when the ones that were wounded and were here. Jeez. Yeah, this was it. And we stood right there.
Yeah, because
So this was all like it is now?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
But you had pews on that side.
Yeah, they had some pews up there. I was in shock at the time. I don't remember a whole lot.
Other than I do. Or did it take a kick?
Yeah, like I said, I was in shock. Oh, after 50 years, it just gives you goosebumps. I don't know about you, but it just, you know, it makes it feel like it was that day again, you know? Her friends were on this side, and my friends were on this side. In the same way at the NCO Club during the reception. I don't know what it was. Hers were on one side, and mine was on the other side. I got to thinking about Camp Zama because of our 50th wedding anniversary coming up. And so I started looking at some YouTubes. And I couldn't believe it. This one guy, he had a GoPro. He rode all over Camp Zama. And when I saw some of the old places as he passed them, I got the idea. I says, you know, that would be nice, you know, if we could do it. So we just started talking about it, and the next thing you know, that's like anything else that we talk about, sometimes it comes to fruition. So, and I wanted to be very special for my wife, because we do cruises and things, and we do special things on anniversaries and things, but this was a special anniversary. And we just felt that Camp Zama was the place to be on our 50th wedding anniversary. Matter of fact, babe, let's go down to the bottom of the hill where we met 50 years ago. Yeah, it was about right here.
on the road.
And I'd like to do something that I should have done 50 years ago.
Replace the... What are you doing?
Would you be my wife, my best friend for another 50 years?
Yes.
How do you feel?
Oh, I'm happy.
You know, when you go through an experience like this, it's surreal, because I don't know how many people on the face of this earth has had an opportunity to go back to the place where their life really began. And that's the only way I can say it. I get choked up thinking about it, because this is where my life began. And I wouldn't change anything in the world about it, including getting wounded. One of the best things that ever happened to me.